What is going on, everyone? We're back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Athletics. Now, once again, the A's have been on an interesting slope for a decent amount of seasons, and with the whole move thing happening, they're definitely in an interesting spot. But this offseason for them has actually been really good with the moves they made. I really like the moves they made, and signing a couple guys which we're going to get into in just a little bit. But let's take a look at their last 5 seasons. Obviously, their last couple seasons haven't been good, right? They really haven't been good. They had the little playoff run in 18, 19, 20. You know, obviously 20, they had a good shot to win, in my opinion. I think that was one of their best seasons in a long time. Just a really good team they had. Unfortunately, they couldn't really sign any of those guys. 2024, they went 69 and 93. So once again, not the best. 5th worst team in the league. 4th in their division ahead of the Angels. But overall, I'm very excited about this A's team moving forward. And I'm really excited for them to get back on top. If you guys don't know me, they're my 2028 World Series champions. Whenever they get to the Vegas, their first year, they're going to make in the playoffs, and they're making a run and a half. In my opinion, I've always been a pretty decent A's fan since all the players they've had. Before we get into the free agent talks, let's go into some of their top prospects that they have, because they actually have some really good guys. They've been drafting really well, and I really like this a lot from the Oakland Athletics. Now, I know Jacob Wilson, he's the #1 guy in their organization. I know he played last year. He played about 28 games before he got injured. Batted a 250 when he was with the team. Had about like 23 hits, 4 extra base hits. He played okay, but very excited to see what he does this season. His first full season probably at shortstop. So very excited to see how he does. Hopefully he stays healthy. And that's another thing I want him to do. I want him to stay healthy. But I just figured I'd mention him just because I feel like he's going to be a good player once he gets a full season under his belt. He had a really quick season in the whole minors. He only played 79 games across 23 and 24. That's pretty good for him. So excited to see Jacob Wilson as we move forward. So coming in at number 3 for the A's in their system is Luis Morales. Now I'm very excited about him as well. Right-handed pitcher. He's currently in a high A right now. He does say he's ETA 2025, which I kind of find hard to believe because he didn't really pitch the greatest in 2024. Had a 4.22 ERA, only 81 innings. So I don't think he's going to get called up in 2025. Figured I mention him just because it's like that on the website. But we'll see what happens with him moving forward. Me personally, I think he needs at least 2026 call up at the most. But we'll see what happens with him. Coming in at number 6 in the organization is Mason Barrett. Now he is supposed to be called up in 2025, currently in AA, as you can see, and he did get traded, as you can see, with the teams he's played. So over across the 2024 season, 4.20 ERA in 133 innings. Obviously performed a lot better when he was with the A's, but yeah, definitely interesting to see how he's going to perform moving forward. I mean, a lot of these pitchers, I feel like it's hard to tell, at least for me. I feel like I can identify hitters better than pitchers, in my opinion, because the teams know way more about pitching than I do. But yeah, we'll see how he develops moving forward. He is an ETA 2025, so we'll see if he gets the call up. Coming in at number 7 in their organization is Colby Thomas. So he's currently in Las Vegas in AAA right now. He batted a 277 last season, so very good. Obviously was in AA, now AAA. Played extremely well, and that was in 132 games as well. Had 142 hits, so a hit a game, which is just insanely good. So yeah, very excited for him to come up. Obviously an outfielder, so definitely could be exciting out there. And they got a lot of guys called up in 2025. We're gonna continue to go through them, but they got so many more players. But he's one of those guys I'm excited about. Now, coming in at number 8 in the organization is Max Muncy from the A's, not the Dodgers this time, but yes, they do have the same name. He's currently in AAA. I think he had a little rehab in rookie ball this season. That's why he only played like 8 games there. Yeah, able to play 50 games in that AAA level, 277, batted pretty well. He's an ETA 2025 guy. Very excited. He does play shortstop as well, so I don't know if they're going to move him over to third base or what's going to happen with him, just because Jacob Wilson would probably play shortstop with this team. So yeah, his position may be unknown if he gets called up. Maybe if he plays a second base, who really knows? But they just got a lot of prospects that could play, so very excited about him as well. And the last kid we're going to talk about today, even though there's a lot more, coming at number 10 is Denzel Clark. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. 2024, he was in AA. Once again, batted a little bit better than his 2023 campaign. Obviously played 116 games, so way more sample size. 269 batting average, had 116 hits, so once again, 1 per game. Pretty impressive right there. Yeah, he's another guy. That's another outfielder that can be waiting to call up. And then we're kind of just going to scroll down here because there's so many other guys that could get called up. They have a catcher, another right-handed pitcher that could get called up. And there's another right-handed pitcher at number 18 right here. Just so many players, 22, 23 as ETA 2025. Just a lot of players that they're going to get called up. So it's going to be very exciting for this Oakland A's team with all these prospects. I mean, they could have literally like 5 guys get called up and be in the lineup, which would be crazy, and more pitchers as well. So it's going to be very exciting for these players. Let's take a look at this team's offseason. They obviously got Gio Urshela this offseason. They got Severino this offseason. And then they have the trade for Jeffrey Springs with the Rays. Now we're going to look at 2 different websites here because really know what's going on with Baseball Reference over here, they say Springs is at $10.5 million, and then everyone else is on arbitration, right? That's what they kind of have. They don't have the Urshela contract or the Severino contract in, so they kind of suggest it's going to be 31 million right now, but we already know that's going to be over 100. I think the A's kind of confirmed that as well. It's going to be over 100 million in budget this year. So Baseball Reference, I feel like, is kind of wrong about this. If we go over to Sport Tac, I think we get a better estimation of how this is going to look. I feel like if we go show details right here, we're going to get a better view of this. We obviously see the Severino contract right here for the 67 million. Then Jeffrey Springs, they have him at 7.7 million on Sport Tac. So it's very interesting what could happen. I know he's got the club option, right? And he's got a lot of other things. He's got a lot of incentives in his contract as well. So, we'll wait and see on that, but that's what they have for his contract. And then they do have a lot of the other contracts in here. Like they have Urshela's contract in here, which is nice. I thought Brent Rooker was an arbitration, so I'm not really sure where they're getting some of these numbers from unless they gave him a contract. Not totally sure, but they have a lot of other guys just at the 800K mark. Imagine these are arbitration over what they made last year, something like that. But that's what they have overall. So once again, we'll wait and see. And when they actually finalize everything, what their salaries and budgets will actually be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be over the 100 million, which they've suggested in the past, obviously. So that will be very exciting because their 2024 payroll was like 84 million or something like that. So they're definitely gonna probably get over 100, which is very exciting. So that's kind of what we have on the contract side. Now let's take a look at their actual roster because I'm very excited about this team moving forward. I think they could do well, with some of the guys they call up and some of the players in general. But obviously they're not going to be a winning team by any margin. So let's look at the starting rotation right here. Luis Severino, Jeffrey Springs, definitely additions to their starting rotation that they desperately need. We know the pitching wasn't the best last year in Oakland, right? So I'm confident about those two. JP Sears is going to be back again, so we have him again. And then the rest of the guys, they're going to figure out. Going to the bullpen once again, they still have Mason Miller, which is going to be a good player. I think they're going to give him a long-term deal at some point in the future, just because I feel like the A's, if they can get some of these rookies in, they have a good rookie season, they can kind of lock these guys down long-term, which we've seen with guys like Bobby Witt Jr. with the Royals. We've seen this with Julio Rodriguez with Seattle. I feel like those teams, that's just a smart thing to do with your young players that are really good. I think Mason Miller could fall into that category. Kind of reminds me of like a Darren O'Day kind of pitcher where he was just really good for years. And then he kind of bounced around the league because the Orioles didn't give him that massive contract, which I thought they were going to. Wait and see what happens on that. That's just my thoughts about Mason Miller. But once again, the bullpen, besides for him, Tyler Ferguson has looked okay, but there hasn't been much other successes in this bullpen. We look at the starting nine, there's definitely a lot of interesting options they could go with over here. I think you gotta let the rookies play and a couple of these players. So Tyler Stordstrom should definitely be the catcher in my opinion, or the first baseman. He's gotta play. He's young. He's a young kid. He's gotta play. I do like Shea Langeliers. Maybe he could DH or something like that. But yeah, and then you'd imagine you kind of fill in the whole infield from here on Zach Glioff playing second. You imagine Gio Urshela would play third, and then Jacob Wilson would play short. And then for the outfield, you got a ton of options over here. There's a lot of guys you could put in the outfield. Michael Andujar, I think, should definitely get the start in left field. I think right field, you got to put Brent Rooker, right? I think that's a no-brainer. And then in center field, you got Reyes and Butler, who are both good players, so I definitely like them as well. And then the DH position, I feel like you could just switch it out or put whoever. I think Shane Langeliers, if he's not catching, you could put him in there. You could put a guy like Brent Rooker in there, which I think they did most of last year. Not totally sure on that, but you could get him in there to get another outfielder to play the outfield. But there's just a lot of options that they have, and some of their players I feel like are going to get pretty good this season. So I'm excited for the Oakland A's moving forward, or sorry, the Athletics moving forward. I forgot they changed the name. So now we looked at every team's attendance. Obviously the A's did not have the best in attendance, right? Last season in Oakland, they didn't even hit 1 million fans, which is kind of sad. They averaged 11.3 per game, which is just horrible looking at the league. So yeah, overall not the best. Pretty close to the Marlins, which is kind of sad. Almost 13.4 a game, and then got the Rays and White Sox from there. But definitely gonna have, I think, a higher attendance. I know the stadium, I think it's Suter Health Park or whatever, kind of have a lower capacity, but I feel like if you sell out a lot of the games, you could probably get pretty similar to what Oakland was averaging, which might be exciting. So that is definitely good to look at moving forward, but wait and see on their attendance, when we get there. Taking a look at the draft for the Oakland A's, they have the 11th pick. They were supposed to get this pick anyways. You can't have 3 consecutive seasons in the top 5, which they had because they weren't good, right? They're at number 11 for the first round, which isn't horrible. You can still get a good player there, but it's not ideal for them. So they didn't have a chance in the lottery, which kind of sucked. So moving down, they don't have a prospect promotion pick. They don't have a compensation pick. Their competitive balance A pick is 37, but they acquired Jeffrey Springs and Jacob Lopez. So the Rays got that pick for that because that was also in the deal. So they lose out on their competitive balance pick, which is pretty unfortunate. They still have their second round pick like normal. They're going to be picking 5th because they're the 5th worst team. And if we keep scrolling down, they don't have a competitive balance B pick because you only get one of those, right? no compensation pick. They don't have their 3rd round pick either because they signed Severino, so they forfeited that pick. And then once again, they don't have a compensation pick. Then they have the 4th round pick like normal. They don't have a compensation pick after that, right? And then they have the 5th round pick, and then everything else from there is normal. So they're only really losing out on like 2 picks, I think, or 1 pick or something like that. They lose out on 2 picks. They're 1 in the 3rd round, and then their compensation pick that they had that they gave to the Rays. So that's kind of what they lost out there. So yeah, not the best year for their draft, but we'll see what they could do. Last year they had a really good draft. They had some really good players that I liked. So I'm definitely excited to see what they have this year. They only got 1 pick, obviously, on opening night, and then they have the rest of the 18 picks moving forward. So definitely gonna be an interesting year for the A's. If I have to give my prediction on this team, I think you gotta do a little bit better than last year. So if you're going for this first year in Vegas kind of postseason position, right? You win 69 games, you want to get that up to like 70, 75. Try to be more competitive this season, which I think they will be with the prospects getting up and then with the players they have. And then we'll see how they do in the new park, right? It's a new park, so not really sure if it's a hitters friendly park, pitchers friendly park. Maybe some in the comment section down below, maybe been there, you can tell me, because I've never really seen a game played there, to be honest, in Sacramento. So gonna be exciting about this team. I mean, it's definitely gonna be unfortunate they gotta play at the minor league ballpark, but maybe they'll draw more fans, which I think will be a positive in general. Yeah, I'm excited for the A's this season. I hope they get like 75 wins. I think that would be a good season for them, especially with the new park, because there'll be a lot of talk about their games and over there and everything like that. And we'll kind of see where they go from there. I think they're going to improve from 69 wins from last year. That's my prediction for this team moving forward. They're probably still going to get 4th or 3rd in that division. If they get 3rd, I'd be really surprised. Probably going to end up 4th or 5th with the Angels. You know, both teams are not really the best. But we'll wait and see moving forward. What's your guys' thoughts about the Athletics? Definitely an interesting team. Paper, I really like what they have going for them, and I'm going to be supporting this team for sure moving forward. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the season preview for the A's. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about the video? What do you guys think about this team? Any other thoughts you have in the comment section, I'd love to hear from. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.